These days, it seems like a lot of people all over the world speak English, doesn't it? And that means that there are a ton of different English accents out there, which is totally fine, you know? But if you are concerned about your English pronunciation, then stick around till the end of this podcast. I have a lot of ideas to help you out.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 763. How to improve pronunciation. Is it orange or orange? And what about coffee, as we call it in New York, or coffee, as they call it in L.A.? Do you park your car? Or, as they say in Boston, pack your car? I heard one time that there are over 30 regional accents here in the USA. So, no matter which one you like to listen to and use, here are my top 3 tips for improving pronunciation and accent. Let's dive right in. First of all, and this may sound obvious, but to improve your pronunciation, you need to listen to a lot of English. Listen to and imitate native speakers. Have you ever noticed that the more you listen to a native speaker, the more natural their speech starts to sound? Maybe you've been listening to this podcast for a long time and you can understand me clearly. That's because you're picking up on things like rhythm, stress, and intonation. You might not even realize it, but your brain is learning how sentences flow in English. Here's what I recommend. When you're listening to English, whether it's a podcast, a TV show, or even a YouTube video, don't just focus on the meaning of the words. Pay attention to how they're saying it. Where do they pause? How do they link words together? Next up, here's a fun exercise called shadowing. This means you listen to a short sentence or phrase, pause the audio, and repeat it immediately, trying to match the native speaker's intonation and rhythm as closely as possible. Do this for a few minutes each day, and you'll notice a big difference in how natural your speech sounds. Also, mix up your sources. Try listening to different types of English accents. You can watch movies, listen to podcasts, or even watch the news. This way, you'll become more familiar with different ways English is spoken around the world. The next one may be challenging for some of you, but it is a good idea to record yourself. Oh, but Michael, I don't like the way my voice sounds when I do that. Yeah, I know. Recording yourself does need a bit of a strong stomach, and doing it might feel strange at first, but it's actually a fantastic way to improve your pronunciation. Most people don't know how they sound to others, so when you record yourself, you get to hear exactly what your speaking sounds like. And here's how you can use this tip. Choose a short text, or just talk about your day in English and record yourself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes. Afterward, listen back to the recording. Compare how you sound to a native speaker and then take notes. Do you notice any sounds that are different? Are there parts of your speech that you feel are unclear? Another great thing about recording yourself is that you can track your progress over time. Record yourself every week, and after a few months, listen to the older recordings. You'll be amazed at how much you've improved. My friend and fellow English teacher, Jonathan Huggins, has been recording himself speaking several languages every day for years now. It does help, that's for sure. And you can start with simple sentences like, I went to the store, or she's studying at the library. Over time, you can practice more complex sentences and conversations. Lastly, the third tip for today is to focus on how you move your mouth and your muscle memory. You may not have thought about this, but pronunciation is physical. To pronounce certain sounds in English, you need to move your mouth in ways that might feel strange at first. But with practice, your muscles will get used to it, and those tricky sounds will become easier. Let's take the TH sound, for example. Many learners find this sound difficult because it doesn't exist in their native language. To make this sound correctly, you need to place your tongue between your teeth and blow the air out. It might feel awkward at first, but with practice, your mouth will remember how to do that. The. I recommend practicing in front of a mirror. Watch how your mouth, lips, and tongue move when you say words that are difficult for you. This will help you become more aware of what's happening physically when you speak. You can also do mouth exercises. Exaggerate the pronunciation of certain sounds like B, P, or V. Pop keeps playing volleyball. Now, we don't generally speak that way, but if you exaggerate the pronunciation, over time, this will help build muscle memory, and pronouncing these sounds will feel more natural. Just like in sports, your muscles need training, and the more you practice, the better you'll get. All right, let's recap the top 3 tips for improving your pronunciation. Listen and imitate native speakers. Focus on how people are speaking, not just what they're saying, and try shadowing short sentences. Record yourself. Hearing your own voice will help you identify areas to improve, and it's a great way to track your progress. Finally, focus on mouth movements and muscle memory. Pronunciation is physical. Practice in front of a mirror and work on forming sounds correctly to build muscle memory. Oh yeah, and find opportunities to speak English regularly, like in my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends. Join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 763. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.